Julius and Raph to tactics and touchlines. As we met earlier to talk about Liverpool-Chelsea game, we are here to look at, after the game ended in 2-1 for Liverpool, which we are trying to look at how the game from each fans and from the Chelsea side and from the Liverpool side, how did we see the game? But firstly, let's look at the stats of the game. So with the stats, ball possession, Chelsea had 58, Liverpool had 42. Expected goals in the match, Liverpool had 1.94, Chelsea had 0.99. So with the scoreline, I think the expected goals matches the scoreline of the game. And the total shots, Liverpool had 9, Chelsea had 12. Shot on target, Liverpool had 5, Chelsea had 2. Big chances, it was 3-3. And big chances missed, Liverpool missed 1, Chelsea missed 2. And we look at fouls. Fouls was 12 for Liverpool and 13 for Chelsea. With corners, Liverpool had 1 and Chelsea had 5. So with this stats, it shows that everything was in favor of Chelsea except the expected goals. Because when you look at even the big chance, though Liverpool had 2 goals, but Chelsea had 3 big chances and they missed 2. So if they were able to convert, maybe we would have a different scoreline. But I wanted to find out from your side, from each fan, Julius being the Chelsea fan, Raph being the Liverpool fan. Let's start with Raph because we played at home. So Raph, with the lineup, let me just go through the lineup because we had a lineup talk before the game. So we'll look at the lineup and see how it played out. So Raph, I think the lineup we had, everything came. It was just McAllister not starting, which we talked about that because he was traveling back from South America. And I think Blot looked at that, and also Gakpo starting over, that is Luis Diaz. So I want to find out from Raph, with this lineup, do you think it was okay preparing for this particular game, or you still wanted Luis Diaz and McAllister in this game?
Oh, okay. Thank you very, very much. What I would like to say is that this November is going to be a very hectic time for Liverpool. We are playing Leipzig on Wednesday.
Yes.
We are going away to Arsenal over the weekend. Yes. I mean, the games are coming in thick and thin. So, Klopp has to rotate a little bit. We couldn't rush Alexis McAllister into this game because of the number of games we'll be playing going forward. So, it was okay. I mean, Luis Diaz and Gakpo are also on the same level when it comes to that performance, or in terms of performance, they are on the same level. And Curtis Jones surprised me on about basically how he played today. Curtis Jones gave us, I mean, he was the best player for today's game. I mean, he was the brightest player in our setup today. I mean, Klopp has been using this guy in our midfield, and sometimes I have issues. But today, Curtis Jones played very well, and I'm so impressed with Curtis Jones and what he did for the team today. So that is all I can say for the lineup, and then how.
Okay. So, Julius, I want to find out from Chelsea's lineup. We had Rhys James coming in, which we were all surprised about it because we had a discussion. He just joined training and we weren't expecting him to start the game. And Gusto being on the left side instead of Vega. And we talked about the Lavia, Enzo Fernandez also. And Enzo Maresca decided to go for Lavia. And apart from that, I think everything you gave us on the lineup was equal, apart from the Rhys James being a surprise to all of us and the Lavia and Enzo Fernandez. What did you see about this lineup too? And did you think there were changes that were supposed to be done in the lineup, or you think it was okay for this particular game against Liverpool?
Okay. Well, first of all, congrats to Liverpool and Raph. Your predictions came through, so congrats on that one. But in terms of the lineup, I think, well, you mentioned the big surprise, with Rhys James, but then to be fair, throughout the week, he's been training well. I've seen some of the training videos, and he's been sharp. He's been physical as well. But then obviously, because he's been out for a long time, we were all concerned about his fitness, and obviously that's why he came off. Early during the game. But I thought it was a solid lineup. Most of them we expected. Lavia or Caicedo was a bit of a debate. I understand the reason why he went for Lavia to start again, because, Lavia is good under pressure, playing under pressure. And also Enzo Fernandez had traveled and played, I think, 90 minutes. And so it makes sense to give him a rest, just like Arne Slot gave McAllister a rest.
Yeah.
And I mean, no surprise that Lavia is a good player, so he deserves to start anyway sometimes. So I think in general, the structure of the team didn't change much as we expected. The way we play usually didn't change. It was just a couple of personals.
Okay, so let's go into the game. First, let's start with some incidents that happened. Then we'll come into the tactics of each coach. So we had one incident with Sancho, where Alexander-Arnold had to step on Sancho in the penalty box, which was Chelsea were looking, or Sancho were expecting to have a penalty, but it wasn't given. We didn't see any VAR checks on that too. And we had 1-2 with Curtis Jones in the Chelsea area where Levi Cole had to clear the ball and he had to boot him to get that penalty. There was 1-2 with Salah. There was a last one with also Curtis Jones. So there were 4 incidents that were supposed to, or the players were expecting to have penalties in them. Let's look at the officiating. Or if you had to rate the officiating of this game out of 10, how are you going to rate it? So, and you just start some of the fouls or the incidents that happen you want to highlight.
I mean, I'm happy to go first. I think it was a fair game in terms of refereeing. To be honest, I thought the Sancho incident was it would have been a very soft penalty to give away simply because he was sort of turning away from the goal. He wasn't really in a dangerous situation, and the ball it looked like he had lost the ball. Actually, listening to the commentary, I think VAR did interfere. VAR looked at it, but then they didn't overturn the referee's decision or asked him to go and do an on-field review. So it was looked at and it was cleared off as not a foul. I think that was right. The first penalty was a penalty as well, I'd say, because as we saw, he clearly kicked the foot of Curtis Jones. Levi Kowa is a good defender, we all know, but he's still young and he will have these moments. It's bound to happen. So I think it's just one that we have to take on the chin. It was a penalty. The second one that was overturned definitely was not a penalty in my opinion, because the goalkeeper got to the ball first. In that situation, what's the goalkeeper supposed to do? He can't get out of the way. He got the ball, and so that's the end of it, and it was rightly overturned. So I think on the balance of play, it was a little bit fair. However, they did go in the favor of Liverpool just a little bit in terms of the silly little fouls that were being given in the middle of the park. I think Alexis McAllister got away with one as well. But these things happen sometimes. So I would say it's fair. I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay. So with Raph, after the game, Enzo Maresca said something that some decisions, as Julius was saying, some decisions were given to Liverpool based on the crowd or the noise from the crowd, because he felt like when a player is being fouled, the way the crowd goes or roars makes the referee make that particular decision. Do you side with him on that, or you think he was just being too aggressive on losing that game and trying to find a fault?
Well, any manager who comes to Anfield, they make mention of how vociferous our crowd is. Yesterday, I remember on Friday, I told you that we have the 12th man behind, and that is our fans. And sometimes these fans have a role to play in the team. They can influence the coaches, the referee's decision sometimes.
Yeah.
So not necessarily. Our English referees are good referees and they are up to the task. And I'm not too sure that he took decisions because of the crowd, the noise coming from the crowd. I disagree with that, but the fans also had a role to play in some of the decisions anyway. So that is all I can say about the refereeing.
So with the referee's decision, maybe rating it from 1 to 10, like the whole game, how would you rate the referee?
8 over 10.
8 over 10. Okay. So Julius, let me get back to you. There was one stat for Chelsea fans. In 4 years, no club has been to Anfield and had most touches in the box than what Chelsea did today. Chelsea had a lot of touches in the box in Liverpool's area, which in 4 years, no team has been able to do that. Do you think Enzo Maresca is being a good coach for Chelsea, and he going forward, he would be the man to be afraid of in this league?
Yes, well, certainly to an extent. I think tactically, I thought that we won the game simply because we were able to impose ourselves on Liverpool. We actually caused Liverpool to change their style of play a little bit. They actually adapted to what we were going to do. So to actually go to Anfield, which is a very kind of it's got an atmosphere, we know that, and to go to Liverpool and get them to adapt to your style of play and to actually outplay them in most of the areas of the pitch was impressive. And so, yes, definitely, there's a lot of positives for Chelsea to take in terms of that. And, going forward, actually, my prediction next year, if we play the same fixture, I see Chelsea winning comfortably.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Okay. So, Raph, let's go into the tactics side of the game. We looked at how both coaches set up. And in the first 15 minutes, you could see that both teams had a plan. Their plan was to not press that high, but to make sure that they don't get exposed to in this game. And if you are watching the game, you could see that both coaches are tactically good when it comes to this type of play. Because we saw Chelsea against Brighton, where Brighton were exposed because they were trying to press high, or they were trying to be more aggressive when Chelsea has the ball. But with Liverpool, they allowed Chelsea to play, but they made sure that they closed all spaces for them to release the ball. Tactically, what do you think Liverpool did to stop Cole Palmer? And also, what did they do to make sure that Chelsea were not getting the chances to penetrate their defense?
All right. So thank you. What I would say is that Maresca has done a great job today, to be very honest. Because after watching the game, I saw that we build from the back. Liverpool, whenever we want to attack, we build from the back, from Arne or Robertson. They closed every channel. Before this game, I remember what Maresca said. He said, I think when he was at Man City, he used 1 week to watch Liverpool's, watch 38 games Liverpool played in a season, 1 week. That should tell you that this manager has been studying our team and knows how to go about setting up his team when it's come to face us. Because if you could notice, Liverpool went long. We did the route one style of football for the whole of first half. We're targeting Mo Salah. Normally, Liverpool don't do it like that. We start the attack from the back, from Van Dijk to Robertson, we switch to midfield, and then we spread our attack going forward. But they blocked every channel. So we were forced to go route one. And whenever we are going route one, we target Mo Salah. He uses upper body strength against Malo Gusto or whoever is in charge or whoever is tackling him. And then we look for a player coming up so that he lays the ball for the other player so that we can move on. That was the game plan. And that was, look, today's game, Maresca has earned my respect because I didn't expect Chelsea to line up this way. Liverpool today's one of our worst games we played today. But not for the sake of resilience and some composure and the spirit. Chelsea would have gotten the win. And if we would have played this game under Jurgen Klopp, I'm not sure we could have won this game. As I told you on Friday, Ancelotti is more of conservative style of football.
Yeah.
Game management, manage the game. After taking the lead by 2-1, if it was under Klopp, with all due respect to Klopp, we would have drawn this game or even lost this game. But look at how Ancelotti was able to manage the game from start to finish. Hats off to Ancelotti. Maresca is doing great. If only Chelsea is going to continue playing like this, I can see Chelsea going forward. Yes, that is all for now.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you.
I want Julius to also give.
Okay, I wanted to ask one question. We had Malo Gusto against Salah, and we had Renato Vega against Salah. With these two, which one do you think was able to hold Salah? Because we saw the first half when Gusto was on the left side, how Salah played. And when Renato Vega came in, there was even a confrontation between him and Salah. I don't know what happened, but it was like Salah was complaining about him being too tight to him. And between these two players, which of them do you think was able to hold Salah in the game?
I think that Vega, because Malo Gusto, I know, is not a natural left back. He's a right back, if I stand to be corrected. Yes. So he being switched to that particular position, he's going to find it difficult against a top winger like Mo Salah. So I feel Vega did a decent job on Mo Salah. On first half, Salah had some chances. Salah created a lot of chances when he was operating on that flanks, when he was being marked by the first guy, that is Gusto. But when Vega came in, Salah was drifting in. He wasn't going for it too much. He came back, dropped deep, received the balls, and then lay passes for the attackers and also the midfielders. So I think with these two comparisons, I think Malo Gusto did a decent job. Unlike, the Gabriel Vega did a decent job. Unlike Malo Gusto.
Julius, with Chelsea's side, do you think, talking about Malo Gusto and Vega, do you think Enzo Maresca was maybe panicking, feeling like Vega wasn't that experienced in the league to mark Salah, so he wanted to go for Gusto on that side? And also, let me know tactically, how did you think he set up, and did it help Chelsea in this particular game?
Right. So I think, I would agree with the fact that maybe he wasn't sure about, throwing Vega into a game against Liverpool to face Mo Salah. I think maybe he was anticipating Liverpool to have a little bit more of the ball, press a little bit more, because I've seen situations. I mean, he's gotten better, to be fair to Vega, but I've seen situations where he's been pressed a little bit, and he's. I believe this was a game against Bournemouth. I want to get this right. And Bournemouth are 1-to-1 aggressive pressers, and Vega did struggle a little bit, actually. So I think maybe that was the game that was playing on Maresca's mind. And also, obviously, given the opportunity to play the captain, Reece James, wasn't a bad idea either. So in terms of the tactics that you asked about, I think, so to start with, anytime Liverpool got the ball and they're trying to build up from the back, as Raphael said, Chelsea went 1-to-1 pressing, and that proved to be very effective because, as Raphael said again, they had to resort to going long to Mo Salah. I think this is where they got their joy, because it was Mo Salah versus Malo Gusto. And Malo Gusto is aggressive, of course, but then I think Mo Salah has got a better upper body strength, or he showed actually, to be able to withstand and actually win those headers. Whereas when Vega came on, Vega is obviously more imposing, much bigger than Mo Salah, and much of an aerial threat. So that part of their game, that was where we were also getting some joy in terms of those long balls. The other tactics would be obviously moving Malo Gusto inwards into the midfield a little bit to create that overload, and building up with three at the back. That gave us a lot of joy because obviously we were able to beat their press a little bit more. Lavia was instrumental in this as well, being able to kind of withstand the pressure and being comfortable holding the ball in dangerous situations and driving through. I'd also like to say Caicedo, in my opinion, had the best game. To me, he was the man of the match. I understand why it went to Curtis Jones, because obviously he got the winning goal, and he made some good runs and that sort of thing. But to me, in that midfield battle, Lavia and Caicedo were much better than Liverpool's midfield.
Okay, so going forward, do you think between Lavia, Caicedo, and Enzo Fernandez, these are three midfielders which Chelsea can use, and there are just two positions left for these three players? With this game, I was impressed with Lavia's play. He was able to break the midfield of Liverpool, trying to set up the pace of the game. And going forward, do you think with these three, which two should be paired enough or have enough game time going forward?
So, I mean, this is a very difficult question, if I'm honest with you. Based on the games that Lavia has played, he's played against City, he's played against Liverpool now, and he's actually done really well against two top teams. And so, based on that evidence, it's quite clear that most of us will go for Lavia and Caicedo. Having said that, I think we're going to be playing 3 games per week now. 2 games per week. And so obviously it gives us more options in the middle, and we'll be able to kind of rotate easily. Also give, Caicedo a rest as well, because don't forget, we've also got Dewsbury Hall, who actually is also developing into the team as well. So it's a difficult question. I haven't given you a straight answer, I know, but that's because it is difficult. I think it will depend on the
game.
yeah, exactly, the game we're playing, and also it will also heavily depend on Lavia's fitness as well. So
okay, so the last question, then I move to Raph. Do you think Sanchez would be the number one goalkeeper for Chelsea? And also, with Curtis Jones' goal, did he have a chance to come out to just touch the ball off his feet, or he had to just stay in the post and try to position himself to block the ball? Some little, it wasn't errors leading to goal chances, but there were errors in the game. And also with the second goal, as a goalkeeper, was he supposed to come out and at least try to touch the ball, or he was supposed to just stay in post and just position himself for the ball to hit him?
So I think, as a lot of people have said, Chelsea going forward, we definitely need to get a better goalkeeper, a more imposing goalkeeper. Anytime Sanchez got the ball today, we were all nervous because there seemed to be an error waiting to happen. And so I don't see him as the number one going forward. For the second goal, I think what may have played on his mind was that potential penalty he could have given. So I think it was sort of a similar situation. Actually, in that incident, in the penalty incident, he did very well. He made himself big, but then obviously could have potentially given away a penalty. I think that may have played on his mind for the second goal. So I'll just give him that benefit of the doubt. But you're right. I think he should have made himself bigger. He could have covered a little bit more. Another thing that could have impacted his decision making was because Curtis Jones actually wanted to hit the ball first time. But then he actually took a very good touch and then decided to go for the second touch. So I think some of these things, it happens very quickly, happens in split seconds. If a lot of things are on your mind, if you've made errors already, it can impact those moments. So, yeah.
Okay, so Raph, let's look at Curtis Jones' goal. Do you think going forward, because this season he hasn't had enough minutes playing for, and do you think this is a statement for Arne Slot to at least give him enough start or enough minutes in the Liverpool game?
We have a lot of games coming up.
Yeah.
Curtis will by all means get his game time. Unfortunately, McAllister came back from international duty.
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to be tired. And also he picked up an injury, a slight one against in our last game. So I think it was for precautionary reasons. That is why McAllister didn't start his game. But surprisingly, Curtis proved he can also be there. Yes, even though he won't get another ahead of Alexis McAllister, but he proved today that in any game when he's called upon, he can also be able to deliver. So I would say that we'll be playing a lot of games. For example, as I said earlier, we'll be going away to Leipzig, coming back to Arsenal. I mean, one player can't do all these kind of, So, of course, Curtis will be getting his game time. And he proved today that whenever he gets the nod. I mean, I was a bit disappointed with some of the display today. There were some balls who should have, buried them easily. For example, the second penalty, which was reversed. That chance was a chance you should have buried. But surprisingly, he delayed some more time on the ball. And then, Sanchez came out and then he was able to. But then on what Julius was saying that Chelsea needs a better goalkeeper. Sanchez was not too bad on the day. Sanchez did a very better job. He did a good job today. Unfortunately, maybe things didn't go too well on his side, but he had a decent game today. Even though we couldn't threaten that much, Liverpool couldn't. We were not at our best today, as a matter of fact. But Sanchez did well, and I think he's the better goalkeeper going forward for Chelsea. Yes, so that is all I can say for that.
Let's look at one Chelsea player, Jackson. His goal, his run. Yeah. He was able to time in between Konate and Van Dijk, trying to create that space for himself. And we all thought the goal was an offside till they had to draw the lines for we to see Konate's feet was ahead of Jackson. What do you think about Jackson's gameplay? He got a chance which on a normal day Jackson wouldn't have shot that ball, but he tried to. His gameplay this season compared to last season, what do you think he has improved?
Positioning and awareness.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, Chelsea consistently book our medium press. We didn't press high today. Liverpool didn't press high today. as I always make reference to Jurgen Klopp's era, we press so high. Ancelotti made them do the middle pressing, or the medium pressing, whereby we press in the middle of the pitch. But Chelsea found a way to break that press, transition quickly, and then lay a true ball to Nicolas Jackson or the wingers, as we discussed earlier. So Liverpool should take note of this one. Whenever we press, Lavia drops deep, or there's a midfielder who drops from the attackers, receives the pass, and then lays the pass to the attackers. It was an easy goal for Chelsea, which Liverpool could have avoided. So going forward, I think Liverpool should work on that one. And then this is a wake-up call for Liverpool. Other teams should be looking at how we set up today, and they are going to pounce on that and use that as our weakness. Yes.
Okay, Raph, with the final question, let's look at the other side. Who was your best player in the Chelsea setup? And if there are any final words you like to also give on the game, then you let us know about it.
Chelsea. Cole did so well, if not for the penalty, the penalty incident that occurred. Cole did so well, but I'll choose our boy, the boy we wanted to sign, but Chelsea, in a way, decided to sign him, Romeo Lavia. He did well in that midfield. I mean, he was able to neutralize the presence of Dominic Szoboszlai and then the Gravenbergs and all. For the first time, Gravenberg didn't get too good of a game due to how important and then, solid Lavia was in that midfield today.
Okay. So is there any other final words you'd like to add to the game?
Yes. Chelsea. Surprisingly, I didn't expect Reece James starting this game. I thought Gusto would be there, so that if there's any one Chelsea player who I really admire is Reece James, because he has that physical presence. He dealt with Gakpo so well. Yeah. Assuming it was Malo Gusto, I'm telling you, Gakpo had a very decent game today. But seeing Reece James, I was like, hey, Charlie, this guy, strong guy. He's very built so well. I know he can offensively, defensively. One of the right backs in the Premiership who's defensively and offensively solid is Reece James.
Yeah.
I know myself. I know that guy's a good player. I know he's a good player. So seeing him today, I was like, okay, he'll be a bit rusty, but he didn't. It is either he sent a beautiful cross in for a striker to tap in for a goal or something. But today's game, he was a bit tactically disciplined, whereby he didn't search forward that much. So I was surprised to see him in the lineup. I expected to see Malo Gusto there, and assuming we had Malo Gusto there, I think Cody Gakpo or Luis Diaz should have had a decent game against him. But with James using his power and the physical presence he has, he was able to neutralize Gakpo. Gakpo couldn't do whatever he wanted to do freely. He had to switch into the midfield, lay a pass on to a midfielder, and then move on. So with James, I know him. He's an excellent player by our standard. But to me, the best player in the Chelsea setup was Romeo Lavia.
Okay. So Julius, on your side, let's see who was the best player on Liverpool's side. Going through the game, your best player on Liverpool's side, who would you have picked?
So today we were all surprised by Curtis Jones' performance. I mean, he's always been a good player, but today he was very influential. So actually he was man-marking Cole Palmer, which is surprising actually, given the way he was also able to affect the game going forward and attacking. So yeah, I would say Curtis Jones generally. Mo Salah also had a good game, if we're fair. Given he was isolated sometimes so on the wing, he was able to use his strength to be able to bring others into the game. So yeah, but I'd say Curtis Jones was overall the man of the match.
Okay, so on our preview, you said that the most dangerous player on the Liverpool setup was Jota. And when the game started, he had an injury and he had to go off. Looking at Jota going off, were you thinking the best solution was to bring on Luis Diaz and push Gakpo into the striking position, or Nunes came in and you think he was decent for Liverpool?
So Nunes had a good game. I think given the way Liverpool had set up, it made sense to bring in Nunes rather than Diaz, because they needed some physicality up front. Don't forget, Nunes was also actually tracking back really well, chasing down the likes of Caicedo and Lavia, and not Lavia, Enzo. So, but he was tracking, he was doing his defensive job. I think in the moment in the game, the way the game panned out, I felt it was more important for them to be more defensively solid, especially in the midfield as well, because they were actually getting outplayed in that area of the pitch.
Okay, so let's look at Chelsea's next game, which will be against Newcastle. Do you think with this same setup or with the same tactics, Chelsea will be able to beat Newcastle on that day?
No, so I don't think we should go with exactly the same tactics. Because Newcastle are a team that like to use their width a lot, with the likes of what's the name of it? The left wing, Anthony Gordon, yes, exactly, and the other side as well. So they actually like to use their width. I think if we try and play the same way against Liverpool, we may find ourselves in the same situation where we actually dominate the ball, we actually play well, but then Newcastle may sit back, defend, and be able to hit us on the break with some of their very quick players. And so I think we should strike a balance between the way we attack and defend. It's okay getting one of your fullbacks inverted and committing into attack, but then you should also remember that you're going to be vulnerable at the back. So maybe that's something that we need to work on as a team in general.
Okay. So Raph, the last question then we would have to just end the show. I want to find out, Arne Slot, do you think he would be a big headache in this two-horse race we saw last season and last 2 seasons between Pep Guardiola and Arteta? Do you think he would this season be dominant and make sure that he breaks that two-horse race and maybe make it a 3-horse race, or even dominate the league to the extent that they wouldn't be able to get closer to him?
I think he'll be able to break that 2-horse race.
Yeah.
Because he did something very well today. And that is how I think he's going to be doing going forward. Game 2 words. He knows how to manage his games. And I was really, really impressed with that. I remember I told you on Friday that to win the league, you have to be very good defensively. From Jose Mourinho to Antonio Conte and all the other managers who have won the league in England. You have to be very good defensively. And Ancelotti is, I personally am a student of any coach who is defensive minded and also adds some attacking flair to his game. And I think what Slot is doing now, if this game was under Jurgen Klopp, we would have won this game or even lost this game. With all due respect to Klopp, as I said earlier, but I think Ancelotti's game management is top notch. When we're under severe pressure from Chelsea when they introduced Pedro Neto, who is very quick and very fast, he quickly changed Trent and brought on Joe Gomez to just don't go, stay there, stay put. Whatever they bring, we break them. Whatever they bring, we break. Change certain tactics, change certain systems in the team, and we're able to get the results. I mean, there are times when even as a good team as you are, you won't have your best games, but you are able to get the results, and that is what makes you a champion. So I think Ancelotti, 8 games into the season, but I think he can get there and also be able to contend for the title and break that 2-horse race between Arsenal and Manchester City.
Okay, Julius, the last question on your side too. Between Pedro Neto and Madueke, these are 2 players who are very good, very quick on the ball. But do you think it's time Enzo Maresca gives Pedro Neto a chance on the right wing position ahead of Madueke?
So again, the whole idea of Chelsea having these many attackers is to kind of instigate competition within the team, especially in the attacking areas. And so I think it'll only be fair, given Pedro Neto's form, the way he performed today as well. I think it'll only be fair to also give him a run in the team on that side. So it's okay for him to start. He can play for 60, 75 minutes. Madueke can then come in and affect the game as well. So it's not a bad idea to give Pedro Neto a chance. Having said that, Pedro Neto can equally play on the left side, as we saw today. And, Madueke has been playing okay. Today, he actually played okay. He gave their left back, Robo, we call him Robo, but yeah, Robertson. He gave him a tough time today.
Very good, because there were people talking great about some analysis that were being given on the show, and they were very, very impressed about it. So on my side, I'll say a big thank you to both of you for at least blessing the show with your knowledge about football and helping the page also grow. I know with time we'll be meeting a lot of times about games because the league hasn't ended. There are Champions League. There are a whole lot of things coming up where we'll have more conversations about this. So thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you again.
Okay, thanks for
Thank you
having
very
me.
much, Benedict.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay.
And
Thank
one
you.
thing, Benedict, you don't only get to us when it's only Liverpool and us Chelsea. If
No,
it
we'll
is
be
any other
bringing
game,
you
can
on
also
board
get to
because
us.
we're bringing you on board every time because you are seeing that you people are giving us a whole lot to learn about. Yeah.
We'll be glad. We'll be glad.
Okay.
We'll be
Thank
glad.
you.
Thank you so much. God bless
Okay.
you too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.